Deadly train disaster, Sri Lanka, 2004. In the serene landscapes of Sri Lanka, tragedy struck with devastating force in 2004, a real-life train disaster that shattered countless lives. But what led to this unimaginable event? Was it a perfect storm of natural forces or a failure in infrastructure? Join us as we delve into the gripping account of the Sri Lanka train disaster based on real events. Who were the individuals whose lives were forever altered, and what shocking revelations lie buried within the wreckage? Brace yourself for a journey that will unravel the hidden truths as survivors seek justice and the world grapples with the aftermath. Will the scars ever heal? Will lessons be learned? Get ready for a gripping tale that will leave you questioning the fragile nature of human existence. The 2004 Sri Lanka tsunami train wreck stands as the most devastating rail disaster in recorded history, claiming the lives of more than 1,700 individuals. This tragic event unfolded when a densely populated passenger train was tragically swept away by a tsunami that struck the coastal railway in Sri Lanka, triggered by the powerful 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake. The ensuing tsunami wreaked havoc, causing widespread destruction, over 30,000 reported fatalities, and a significant property damage in the coastal regions of Sri Lanka. The magnitude of this disaster serves as a somber reminder of the immense destructive force of natural disasters and the profound impact they can have on transportation infrastructure and human lives. On Sunday, December 26, 2004, tragedy struck the Mutara Express, also known as Train Number 50, a regular passenger train operating between Colombo and Galle along the southwestern coast of Sri Lanka. Departing from Colombo's Fort Station on that fateful day, the train embarked on its journey around 6:50 a.m. The timing was significant, coinciding with both the Buddhist full moon holiday and the Christmas holiday weekend. The train, named with grim irony as Samudra Devi, or Queen of the Sea, was already filled to capacity, accommodating over 1,500 paid passengers and an undisclosed number of unpaid passengers, including those with travel passes and government permits. Pulling the train was locomotive number 591 Manitoba, a Class M2A locomotive manufactured by General Motors Diesel of Canada in 1956, belonging to Sri Lanka Railways. For most of its length, the railway can run parallel to Sri Lanka's picturesque west coast, at times within sight of the tranquil beach. However, at Telwada, the track veered through dense palm groves, obscuring the sea which lay only 200 meters away. Without any warning, approximately 2 hours after leaving Colombo, a cataclysmic event unfolded. A colossal wave roared through the palm groves, crashing into the train with devastating force, derailing the carriages and engulfing them in a torrent of water. In an instant, the bustling train transformed into a scene of unimaginable horror and tragedy. The Queen of the Sea train disaster remains one of the tragic consequences of the devastating Christmas 2004 tsunami that struck Sri Lanka. The Queen of the Sea train, a crowded passenger connection between Colombo and Galle, fell victim to the successive waves of the tsunami that fateful morning. As the first wave hit, the train came to a halt amidst the rising waters, leading passengers to believe they would be safe if they sought refuge on top or behind the carriages. However, when the second, larger wave arrived, it engulfed the train, derailing it and causing it to collide with trees and houses, crushing those seeking shelter behind it. The carriages quickly filled with water, resulting in the drowning of all those trapped inside. The severity of the disaster was compounded by the overcrowded conditions of the train, making it impossible to open the doors in the chaos that ensued. Subsequent waves continued to batter the train, and the final death toll reached approximately 2,000, making it the deadliest train disaster in history. The name Samudra Devi, symbolizing the Queen of the Sea, carried a chilling irony as the mighty ocean claimed the lives of countless passengers that day. This harrowing incident stands as a somber reminder of the immense power of nature and the profound impact it can have on the lives of those caught in its path. Following the seismic activity detected by Sri Lanka's monitoring station at Palikele, reports of an approaching tsunami began to reach the dispatching office in Mardanya. Immediate action was taken to halt 8 trains that were operating along the coastal line, successfully averting potential disaster. However, tragically, the attempts to stop the Mutara Express were in vain. At the station in Ambalagoda, all available personnel were occupied with the departing train, rendering them unable to answer the phone and receive crucial information about the impending tsunami. By the time communication was established, the train had already left the station, leaving no opportunity to intervene. Further efforts to reach personnel at stations located southward were met with frustration and sorrow. Many station staff had either fled for their own safety or, devastatingly, lost their lives in the wake of the powerful waves. The lack of available personnel and the chaos caused by the disaster hampered any additional attempts to halt the train and protect its passengers. At around 9:30 a.m., the village of Paralia, near Telwada, was struck by the first massive waves generated by the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. As the tsunami approached, the Matara Express train came to a halt as water engulfed its surroundings. An alarm sounded, warning the local population about the rising water level. Believing the train to be a safe refuge, hundreds of villagers climbed onto the train's carriages in an attempt to avoid being swept away. Others sought shelter behind the train, hoping it would shield them from the force of the oncoming waves. However, the first wave flooded the carriages, causing panic and chaos among the passengers. Within 10 minutes, a colossal wave lifted the train off the tracks and slammed it into the surrounding trees and houses, obliterating anything in its path, including those seeking shelter. The train's 8 carriages were densely packed with people, making it impossible to open the doors as the water rapidly filled the compartments. Tragically, most of those inside the carriages drowned as the water engulfed the wreckage multiple times. Meanwhile, the passengers who had sought refuge on top of the train were violently thrown from the upturned carriages, and many met a similar fate, either drowning or being crushed by debris. Locomotive number 591 Manitoba was carried approximately 100 meters before coming to a rest in a swamp. The train's engineer, Janaka Fernando, and assistant, Sivalo Ganathan, lost their lives while remaining at their posts. Based on the state of the shoreline and the high water mark of a nearby building, estimates suggest that the tsunami reached a height of 7.5 to 9 meters above sea level, surpassing the top of the train by 2 to 3 meters. The scale of the tsunami disaster overwhelmed local authorities, rendering them unable to provide immediate rescue and support. It took several hours before the train's location was discovered by an Army helicopter. The lack of functioning emergency services resulted in many injured individuals succumbing to their injuries throughout the day, with some bodies remaining unrecovered for over a week. Families took matters into their own hands, searching for their loved ones amidst the wreckage. The Sri Lankan authorities reported that only around 150 people survived the incident, while the death toll was estimated to be at least 1,700 and possibly exceeding 2,000. Approximately 900 bodies were recovered, with others swept out to sea or taken by relatives. The town of Paralia suffered significant destruction, losing numerous residents and most of its buildings. Unidentified and unclaimed bodies were buried in a Buddhist ceremony near the damaged railway line. On the first anniversary of the disaster, commemorative ceremonies were held in the reconstructed town of Paralia, situated alongside the restored railway. Despite the tragic events, the railway continues to operate its Colombo to Gali surface, with W. Korensiltilaka, the guard who survived the disaster, still employed. As a symbol of remembrance, locomotive number 591, Manitoba, and 2 of the damaged carriages were salvaged and rebuilt. The locomotive's paint job was modified to include a wave, serving as a memorial. Since December 26, 2008, and every subsequent year, the rebuilt locomotive and carriages returned to Paralia to participate in a religious ceremony and memorial, honoring the lives lost in the tragedy. As we reflect on the Sri Lankan train disaster of 2004, let us honor the memory of those who lost their lives and extend our deepest sympathies to their families and loved ones. May their story serve as a reminder to cherish and protect every precious life, and may we remain committed to building a safer and more resilient future for all.